Hi, I'm Zach.
And Frank's is here.
All right, this is our podcast where we're going to watch a bad movie and we're going to talk about it and we're going to let you know what we thought and pretty much just break it down. So this week we watched 1986's Maximum Overdrive, starring Emil Gamal Estevez and the guy who played Commissioner Gordon in the 1989 Batman movie.
Wait, isn't it Emilio Estevez?
Right, Emil Gamal Estevez.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yep, and
this he was in the Mighty Ducks.
He was in the he was Gordon Bombay in the Mighty Ducks.
What if he had never drank? Drinking and driving, then we never would have had that movie.
That's very true. Also, he wouldn't have been on parole in this movie.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was.
He was on parole.
Spoiler alert.
He was spoiler alert. Lego Maego Estevez was on parole because we know this because he has a little red sticker on his punch-in card, and then at one point in the movie, he goes over to all of the other clock-in cards, and there's like 5 red stickers. Like
Some have 2.
What?
Some have 2 stickers.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You're a double secret parole?
Or does that cancel you out?
That cancels you out, and you're on parole twice, so you're not on parole at all.
Right. So what Zach was saying was, so Emilio Estevez's character works at a truck stop diner. Yep, truck stop diner, and his boss is an asshole, like every other truck stop diner boss.
Played by the guy who was Commissioner Gordon in the original Batman series of movies.
Oh, wait, was it?
Yeah. He was, I'm pretty sure he was in 1989, but he was at least that in the Joel Schumacher movies. I don't know why I remember that, but he is Commissioner Gordon.
All right. So why don't we go to the plot?
Okay.
The original plot of the movie.
Well, the movie starts with, first of all, it starts by telling us that not only is this movie based on a Stephen King novella called Trucks, but it was written and directed by Stephen King.
Bad idea.
I got more on that later. But so it shows up written and directed by Stephen King, which says a lot already. But it starts out with a title screen that says, "A rogue comet. The Earth will pass through the tail of a rogue comet for 8 days, 23 hours, and 24 seconds."
Wait a second. Hold on. Rogue comet. So what they're saying is this comic decided that this comic book decided that it didn't want to be friends with the other comets, and so it just went off towards Earth on its own.
I'm pretty sure that we consider a rogue comet anything that isn't constantly coming around, sort of like Halley's Comet.
Oh, I'm thinking Dungeons and Dragons, Rogue. I'm away from the group doing my own thing.
You would say that.
Of course.
Anyway, a rogue comic is gonna a rogue comedian is gonna we're gonna pass through its tail for 8 days, 23 hours, and 24 minutes. I don't know why it's so specific because that literally never plays into the movie, at all.
No, not at all.
But they get so specific to the second. They go 8 days, 24 hours, 45 seconds, and almost implying that will matter, but it never does. So, essentially, what this comet is doing is alien ghosts or alien beings come down via the comet. You never see that happen. They possess machines and electrical equipment, but not just things that run on electricity, machines. And
battery-powered things.
No, not even battery-powered. You saw the movie. They possess an M60 machine gun.
A meat cutter.
A meat cutter, a pinball machine,
which was really old, by the way. Really dated.
An electric turkey carver, and
that's what I meant.
An ATM machine and a bank kiosk.
Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you caught it, Zach.
No, I did. I'm about to go into it.
No, you are?
Sure, I am. Why not?
I'm going to go ahead and throw my 2 cents in on the bank teller machine.
Okay.
Stephen King is the one taking the money out.
Yes, I was just going to get to it.
Well, I had to say it because when we were talking about it before, you didn't say anything.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Anyway, so we get the title card, we come back down to Earth, and we're immediately in front of a bank. And the bank kiosk where it normally says the time and the day, or like the temperature, is just scrolling the words fuck you.
Yep.
And nobody notices this, which I thought was funny. And it's so quick because it's the opening shot. If you weren't looking directly at the letters, you would totally miss it. I had to rewind it because I saw the word fuck for like a half a second and I had to go back to make sure it actually said that. And then Stephen King, dressed as such a
businessman,
but not even like an Archie's comic version of a businessman.
No,
he's not even a businessman. He's a businessman.
Almost like and kind of like a pimp.
Kind of like a pimp. He's dressed in the way that nobody really actually dresses, but when you're trying to make a caricature of a person, he's got like a bow tie and like a weird mustache. Like I don't even actually know if he had that mustache. It's really strange.
Did you know he's in every movie he's made or been they've named after?
Well, not every movie.
I thought it was every one. I thought he made an appearance.
He's not Alfred Hitchcock. He's not in every film.
Well, I don't think he was in The Lawnmower Man either.
Okay, stay tuned for that. That's another brilliant.
That's a good one. Anyways,
so he goes up to an ATM machine and it literally just starts calling him an asshole. And he has one of my favorite lines in the film. Hey, honey, this ATM machine's calling me an asshole.
I want to make some comments on that.
And then, well, before you do, anyway, that's it. That's all that happens. Cuts away, and that's end of the bank, the bank saga of this movie. Go ahead.
All right, my turn here. All right. So first off, how do they know our obscenities?
I have that note. I'm looking at it right now. It says, "Why does the alien know human cursing? And in your world domination plan, what exactly does that do?"
And then, okay, so that's the first scene, and this is one of many scenes to open the movie that make yes, the plot does not progress until about 45 minutes into the movie.
I'll agree with you there. I feel like this movie opens for about an hour.
Right, and all it is just silly little things that the aliens are doing to the, electrical equipment and other things.
Well,
just to show their power, I guess.
Well, here's the thing. For a while, it just appears to be electrical equipment. And we'll get into everything else later. But for the first, I want to say 20 minutes, they strictly possess things that are just run by electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So you almost sort of get the vibe that they are maybe electrical-based aliens, and maybe they'll sort of, I don't know, take over an automotive factory, and instead of making cars, they'll make, like, killing machines. I'd buy that. As bad as this movie is, I would buy that. And they sort of sell you on that up until a little while.
And with Stephen King's style, I get it. Stephen King's style, I don't know if anyone's read the books, any of his books, he always starts kind of slow. And a lot of it is the build-up showing, like, what... giving teases of the entity or being or something like that. And that's usually his style. But what happens is it sometimes doesn't translate over to a movie that well, especially when he's directing.
Well, I've actually read this book.
Oh, you did read it. Okay, I haven't had a chance to check this one out.
It's not an actual book. It's a short story. It's in one of his short story books.
Is it Nightmares and Dreamscapes or something like that?
No, it's in Night Shift.
Mm-hmm.
And Night Shift is actually not a bad book, but even this story isn't really that great. It's a little bit more consolidated than this movie is, but the fact of Stephen King writes a lot of shit. He's got a lot of books out there. He's got a lot of stories, and a lot of people don't realize that he writes a lot of crap.
Of course, he does.
He writes so much stuff that people are like, oh man, he wrote The Green Mile. That was so good. He wrote It. That was amazing. He wrote The Shining. I love that book. But then a lot of people don't go, yeah, but he's got 25 other books that are just bags of dog shit.
Under the Dome, we're looking at you.
Actually, Under the Dome, I liked Under the Dome until it got to the end. But that's
I was not a fan.
Yeah, well, that's a podcast for another day.
Yeah, it is. All right, keep going on.
But anyway, he's writes so much shit, and they take Stand By Me and they make it into a movie, and it's great. But then they went and they took this.
No, not they. He.
He took this, which was a bad book. It wasn't even a book. It was a short story, and it wasn't good. And they turned it into a worse movie.
This movie runs 1 hour and 38 minutes, and
does it really?
It does, and I
felt way longer than that.
I got upset about 18 minutes in, and I had to endure the hour and 20 minutes that was after that.
That felt.
Yep.
I could have sworn that was at least 2 hours long.
Nope, it's 1 hour 38. It's very like a lot of the styles. It's very 80s. It's very apparent. The movie did not. That movie wasn't good to begin with, and it didn't age well either.
Well, that brings me to my next point, is that on being 80s, the entire soundtrack, not just bits and pieces, literally every piece of music you hear is done by AC/DC.
That's true.
Literally all of it.
Yep, and actually some of the
band members...
The songs premiered on this movie.
But that was where I started to have a conflicting feeling, because late AC/DC, late 1970s, early 80s, 1980s AC/DC is some of my favorite music. Hell's Bells, Highway to Hell, You Want It, You Got It. All these songs, they're really, really good, and they're in this movie. And when they pick up, they really, honestly, they play well in the film. But then you snap out of it and you'll go, oh, but I'm watching this really, really horrible movie.
Want to know my favorite part of the movie?
Yes.
All right. If I say green, will you guess what it is?
Goblin.
Right, Green Goblin.
We're getting there.
Oh, okay. I'm ahead of them. Okay, I'm ahead of Mr. Zach here.
Slow it down. We're getting there.
Okay, where are we right now?
Okay, so the aliens, via magic, have possessed a bank kiosk. Then we cut to they possess the control panel at a bridge, and they raise the bridge very, very slowly. And all of the cars on the bridge, as it's raising, make no attempt to move. Nobody gets out of their car. A truck full of watermelons falls all over everybody. And again, if you just got out of your car and got out of the bridge, you'd be fine. But people are just holding their steering wheels, screaming, while watermelons crash through the front of their car and actually, kill a dude.
Can I break her on there for a second?
Go for it.
Yeah. You just mentioned screaming. That is one of the biggest cringes I had during this movie. The screaming is really annoying, no matter what character is doing it. Just thought I'd say that.
Well, because
so that gets another minus for me.
Everybody overacts except for Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez is the only person who is not overacting, to the point where I started to go did they get a bonus for if they literally chewed a part of the scenery? If one day they were one guy was like, "This is crazy," and they're like, "All right, you get $1,000 extra today because you were the most overacted person here," because it's so ridiculous. Not that this is a great movie and overacting, frankly, kind of helps it, but it's so silly. It's so silly.
Did you know Emilio Estevez and Stephen King? Yeah, those two. They both and Stephen King both got Razzie Awards for this movie.
What'd they get them for?
Worst actor and worst director.
I'd buy it.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to the bridge.
Oh, so let's go back to the bridge. Well, the bridge collapses. There's a van on it that says AC/DC on the side, in case you forgot. In case you forgot that they said AC/DC did all of the music in the opening credits, and every song you've heard up to this point has been an AC/DC song, and you've already heard at least 3.
There's a lot of product placement in this movie, too.
Yes, there is a lot. And so, but when I saw that, I was like, does that imply the band was on that bridge and died in this alien invasion?
I hope they had something to say about it.
But, so we keep cutting between the rest of, not even the world, The rest of about one small town and this truck stop.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Thank you. I don't know why you remember that.
I took notes.
Well, I took notes too. I didn't. But anyway, so we cut between Wilmington, North Carolina, and this truck stop diner. And at this truck stop diner, you find out that Commissioner Gordon is the owner of the diner, and Emilio Estevez is Gordon Bombay is a cook who on parole who works there, and that it's there to sort of make him a character, but it doesn't really matter. And again, up until this point, all that is affected is electronics. So so we cut to the inside of the diner that has a full arcade. Now,
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. If there was an arcade like that locally where I live, I'd go there every day.
Some of the game selection seems to be a little, dated.
Well,
even for that time.
I mean, the concept of an arcade is dated.
In a truck stop?
In a truck stop, but it's not like, they have like a pinball machine and a Pac-Man. It's a whole room. There's at least a dozen machines in there, and only like 3 pinball machines, and then a bunch of arcade games.
And none of them spit out tickets.
No. No. No, there is the truck stop goers don't go in there and play pinball for half an hour and go, give me a pack of Salem's and I've got enough for the spider ring and the bouncy ball.
Yeah, one of the packs of cigarettes is 20,000 tickets.
Yeah, but you didn't have to pay for it, but you spent $30 winning the tickets. And that was back when a pack of cigarettes cost like 98 cents.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So,
anyway.
Inside of the arcade is the man who plays Gus Fring in Breaking Bad. And that's what I'll refer to him as because he dies about 30 seconds after we see him. And his only character trait is that he appears to be a black person.
Yes, that was typical black person at that time is how they portrayed him.
He's not even a black dude. He's like Cuban or something like that.
He's also playing video games, isn't he?
No, they don't even show him playing video games. He stares at a pinball machine that starts to play itself. And, I wrote this down. So he's staring at the pinball machine, and it starts to play itself, and he just goes, "Your mama." And that's all he says. His only line is the words, "your mama," and then that's it. And so,
I'm assuming he's talking to the pinball machine?
I guess, or that is a colloquialism at the time where you got to exclaim, "Yo mama." And he walks over, so all of the machines are playing themselves. He walks over to an arcade machine and then is killed by magic lightning when he touches the machine. The lightning goes up his arms and doesn't appear to harm him in any way until it goes into his eyeballs and he dies.
Now wait, doesn't he try to he's stealing cigarettes from the cigarette
That's
machine.
Right. There's a cigarette machine in there, which is another thing that dates this movie, and all of the arcade machines start just spewing out coins. So he fills up all of his pockets with cigarettes and quarters, and he's so happy that you think he would just leave this place. But
I don't know if that's supposed to be a rip on black people or what Stephen King was doing there, but
hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I walked into an empty arcade machine and there were cigarettes and change on the floor, I would do the exact same thing that guy did, except touch the possessed machine.
You're not black though, are you?
Why you gotta? Why you gotta be like that?
I don't know.
I like you asked me too, like you're not quite sure.
Hello, brother.
I don't.
No, it's just the reason I'm saying it is
the reason
itself. The reason, Wascally Wabbits. The reason I'm asking is it just seems like the movie went out of its way to show you that this guy was black.
Well, I mean, I will say that because his only line is "Yo, mama." He is like wearing like a sideways neckerchief. They go out of their way to show that he is not a white person, but I don't think the reason he died is a white person. We don't know this person's name. Nobody ever addresses who he is. He just goes in there and then dies. What are you writing a paper on this?
No, I'm going to see here if what does the Wikipedia page say about this?
All right. Well, while you look that up, I'm going to keep going.
Why don't you move on to the Green Goblin?
Okay. Well, we're not there yet.
It's where we are.
No, it's not where we are. I got it all laid out. So, right, Gus Fring dies. Emilio Estevez gets called into, Gordon Bombay gets called into Commissioner Gordon's office, and he threatens him because he's just a sleazy man. Meanwhile, a waitress, who appears to have no idea how to cook eggs, is just chopping eggs up on a griddle and is then attacked by an electric turkey carver. Why this diner has a turkey carver, I don't know. It's a huge carver, and literally all they're doing is cooking breakfast. They're cooking hash browns and they're cooking eggs. That's the only two things you see. Right. It's the only two things you see them cooking, and there is an enormous. It's the 80s, so it's huge. An electric turkey carver appears to leap at this woman and cut her hand and her finger off, though she has the finger immediately afterwards, and it falls. Say again?
Just a malfunction.
Right. And then it drops on the ground and then proceeds to start cutting her foot open. And this is one of many instances in this movie where all you have to do is walk away.
Right.
Just turn around and walk away. The turkey carver doesn't have legs. It didn't grow like alien limbs. It's just vibrating on the ground and like vibrates into her foot. But she stands there while it cuts her foot open.
Yeah, she does. And Zach, you're right. There's a lot of, especially when we start talking about vehicles, there's some parts where I think that this could all just have been avoided.
Right. And we're getting there, and I know you want to hop to the Green Goblin, but
that was my favorite part.
You're forgetting a very important scene. Right after the turkey carver attacks the woman, we cut to a child's baseball game.
Ah, yes.
Yes, see, you wanted to skip this. We can't skip this.
No, this is good. This is great.
So, a team wins, and instead of like any baseball game I've ever seen where the game ends and everybody shakes hands and the parents come out, the game ends and the coach goes, "I'm going to buy sodas," and marches right over to the soda machine.
For the team.
For the whole team. And he's paying in change. So he's going to have to stand.
Each,
he's going to have to stand there for at least 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
And
not after what happens.
No, because the soda vending machine kills the man by firing a soda into his crotch and then firing a soda can into his head, which apparently kills him. And this is the second instance of where if the soda machine hit this man in the crotch, if he just walked away from it, he would have been fine.
Nope, he had to do the typical bend over.
He bent over.
The exit machine of the machine.
He bent over without like bobbing left or right, and he gets hit in the head and he dies. And the soda machine then fires sodas at the rest of the team, except for one child who apparently is brave and smart, and he tries to rescue his coach but find out he's dead. Then this is the first time a vehicle is possessed. A steamroller busts through the fence and runs a kid over and just kills him in, frankly, a very graphic scene.
I was surprised. I thought he was going to, again, roll out of the way. And also, I was just surprised that a kid was killed. But we also in this scene get to see that someone actually is semi-smart. The kid that survives, he actually has he's a catcher, I guess, and he has the catcher's mask, and he blocks his face from being hit. From the cans.
Right, which is the only smart thing that happens in the movie.
That it might be.
So, he gets on his bike and drives away. We then cut to the interior of a car where a woman who is dressed like Diane Keaton from Annie Hall is getting a ride from a Bible salesman who is clearly trying to rape her. And
well, he's trying to feel her up, but I mean, I guess that was the intent all along.
The intent was he was trying to rape her.
Probably.
So they're in a car and they have a very nothing conversation and they pull over at the truck stop because the script said so. And they get out of the car and something happens. And then it is this point that we see a giant truck with a green goblin from Spider-Man on the face of the truck. And we don't mean it looks like the Green Goblin. It is the Green Goblin.
Yeah, straight out of Marvel. If you looked up... If you look up Green Goblin's Wikipedia, that would be the same picture than the grill of this truck.
And I didn't look this up, but I should have. I don't know why I didn't. Were they allowed to do that, or did they just do it?
I mean, the Wikipedia says led by a black semi-truck sporting a giant green goblin mask on its grill.
Well, I mean, we know that, but did Steven...
Product placement? Marvel, maybe?
I don't know, though. Like, in my head, I'm like, did they ask for permission and they did it in the comic and they took it from the comic, or did Stephen King just do it and not ask anybody and then nobody at Marvel really gave a shit? Because today, if you tried to do that with Marvel, they would sue the pants off of you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know. And what is the truck? The truck's like a toy store? Like, it's... Yeah, I think that's what it says on the side.
It's shipping toys. I can't think of the actor's name. It's driven by a black guy. He's been in 1,000 movies. He was the orderly in the first 3 Silence of the Lamb movies. That's the only thing I can really remember him from now. But he's been in a lot of movies, and he's actually a pretty good actor. But he never dies. He sort of just stops becoming a part of the film at some point.
Yeah, which is... Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't think any movie he's been in, he's died.
He doesn't die in this one either. He's there. He's there for a few important scenes, and then at some point, he's just not there anymore.
Oh, there's a lot of things wrong with this movie. So if that, I mean, we'll take that one and whatever.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. So, this is where I start to... So, the steamroller and the Green Goblin truck and a couple other vehicles have appeared to be possessed. This is where
What about the couple?
Well, this is where I start to have my fundamental problem with the movie is, unlike today, where trucks are, and many other things, are computer-based, trucks don't have computers in them like they do now, and they aren't electrically run. Up until this point, all things that have been electrical have been possessed. What part of the truck are they possessing? I thought that these were like ghosts who were sort of like not ghosts, aliens who were sort of electrical based. But now it's sort of like, are they alien ghosts who can possess, frankly, anything?
Because they do. They even turn the keys on the trucks.
Right. They turn the keys on the trucks. Things that are strictly mechanical. Things that need a force to operate them are
like
now...
a lawnmower.
Right, a lawnmower. And... This is when it gets to another point where a creepy-looking blonde man and Lisa Simpson, the woman who voices Lisa Simpson, are newlyweds driving to the diner. And their car is not possessed. It appears to be just trucks.
Just trucks.
But just trucks, but then also a lot of other things we'll get to.
Hence the title of the original story.
Right, hence the title of the original story, Trucks. And if they just possess trucks, if all they did was possess trucks, which would make no sense, at least there would be a rule, you know? Like, right. I'd accept that because it's a rule.
Well, there's the rule. There are no rules here.
No, there are no rules here.
There are rules here? There are no rules here.
That's Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
So their car is not possessed, and at one point they're driving to the truck stop, and she says she has to go to the bathroom, and the man asks if he can go in and watch, and it's supposed to be funny, and it was really gross.
And awkward.
Because she's like, no, ha ha ha, giggle giggle, you can't watch. And I'm watching it with my girlfriend, and she looks at me and says, if you ever asked to do that to me, I would break up with you on the spot.
What is this? Must be some part of 80s humor I just missed.
It was super gross. She's like, I have to pee. And he's like, can I watch you pee? And it's a 5-second spot, but it held on with me through the whole movie. It was like, ugh.
Did you write it down?
I did. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, okay. I didn't write that one down.
Well, I wrote that down. So they pull off at a gas station, not our titular truck stop. And he goes up and he sees a guy who's dead and everything. And then he looks up on the wall and he sees a clock. And the clock is spinning out of control, implying that the clock is possessed.
Time to leave.
Now...
That's what I was saying. Okay, that's that. I'm gone.
But when you look at it, when I was looking at it, I'm like, so that's implying that the clock is possessed. Now, why possess that clock?
Maybe they ran out of things to possess.
But they didn't possess their car. They're driving.
Maybe they're not against the rules. You can't do that.
They're driving in that car, and that clock is possessed. In your plan for world domination, what does that do?
You take control of time?
No, what? At least the kiosk and the bank ATM taunting you, I can get, where it's like, we're just gonna say fuck you and call Stephen King an asshole. But now we have a clock that just spins. Do you think that clock that's just spinning is like, man, why did I possess this clock? Like,
that was the slow one of that family.
I don't.
For the aliens.
So
like, what do we do with Mixoplex? Put him in the clock.
Mr. Mixoplex?
Yeah.
So stuff happens at the truck stop. It doesn't really matter. A truck,
which is the focal part of the whole movie.
Right, a truck tries to kill them. So
now a bunch of trucks don't show up.
Well, no. So we cut back to our truck stop where Annie Hall starts hitting on Gordon Bombay. And it is...
I fell asleep during this part.
Well, it's out of the blue and it means nothing, and it just stops. It happens for 5 seconds and then stops. And so we cut from Lisa Simpson seeing the clock possessed to Milgamo Estevez getting flirted on to the kid who escaped the soda machine, who honestly is he has the most interesting story. He's driving through their town on a bike.
This is creepy, this whole thing.
Right, he's driving through the town on a bike, and he's seeing all these dead people. There's people who've been killed by lawnmowers. There's people that have had their cars run themselves into trees, which, again, makes me go, why isn't Lisa Simpson and creepy blonde guy's car possessed? And there's people who have, had headphones on, and their ears are bleeding, implying that their transistor radios have killed them.
And there's people hanging out of their top floor windows, just messed up,
just dead. And this is where This is where the other thing happens, where he's driving, and in synchronized order, all of the sprinklers behind him start to turn themselves on in unison,
as if they're following him,
until he turns around and they all shut off, implying that the sprinklers are also possessed by aliens.
Further, water, electricity, maybe far stretch.
Just making these aliens' powers more and more vague. Because it's like, okay, well, I'm the alien that possesses a truck. And it goes, well, I'm the alien that possesses a sprinkler? Like, even the soda machine killed the guy. What does the sprinkler do? Oh no, our lawn is flooded. Like, it doesn't make sense.
That's a travesty for grandparents.
The alien grandparents?
No, just for regular people if their lawns get messed up.
Oh, I thought you were like, my grandson's a truck. And the other was like, well, my grandson's just a sprinkler. Like, how does the alien who's inside the sprinkler feel about the alien who's inside the truck? Are they just
probably make fun of him?
Are they like, hey, we're all helping? Or you're right, is there some sort of segregation there? But, so the kid hides in a bush from the possessed ice cream truck, and then is possessed by a lawnmower that pushes itself, even though it's a push lawnmower, and that's not how those lawnmowers work. It still goes. So this is the point in the movie where we switch from electronics to it's just trucks.
Right. And that's when the movie actually starts to, if you want to say any good, it's somewhat good.
Right. And this is
the standoff right here, right?
And this is about, 40 minutes in? More than
that. I'd say almost an hour.
Almost an hour in, and now we're finally to the part where it's just trucks. So, because people are still driving cars. So it's not cars. It's just trucks. So it's at this point that Lisa Simpson and the weird blonde are attacked by a truck on the highway in their non-possessed car. And they manage to ram it off the road somehow. And before it dives into a crevasse, it just explodes.
Which was kind of awesome.
But it didn't explode for any reason. Like, the second it breaks...
And the trailer explodes first.
Yeah, it explodes from the back, and it's not like a gasoline truck. It just sort of blows up.
The explosions are good.
Well,
the brain proved that.
Well, it's hard not to make an explosion good. Oh, at this point, this is where I have a note. And it said, the woman who plays Lisa Simpson is so annoying, I hope she dies.
I thought her outfit was nice.
What? No, she's the... all kidding. She does...
She screams all the time.
Yes, and you can tell when they wrote this that they made her to be a
annoying character.
Right, an annoying character. I feel like they did that too well.
Yeah.
Because she's so annoying that I'm just like, I almost wanted the actual person to die.
I don't know, that's pretty harsh.
Well, I'm sorry. Anyway, so we cut back to the diner, and at the diner, a bunch of trucks have turned themselves on, and they are encircling the diner. They're constantly driving around to the point where nobody can leave. And this is when, so that happens for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
And then this is when Commissioner Gordon produces a rocket launcher, all of the sudden, with no explanation.
That's a, what kind of rocket launcher is that?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to look it up while you keep going.
Okay. So he produces a rocket launcher and destroys 2 trucks. Blows them up successfully. And it's not like he's dodging in and out of other trucks while he's doing it. He shoots them, they explode, and it works. And despite the fact that this appears to be working, they stop doing it.
Here it is. It's a M72 LAW rocket.
And what do we do with that knowledge now that we have that?
Destroy trucks.
Which would be the smart idea, but we don't do that.
Yeah.
He shoots 2, they explode and are destroyed. The trucks don't try to run him over. There's no retribution for that. And he stands out there with a cigar in his mouth going, ha ha, take that. And then turns around and walks away.
Makes sense.
It does not make sense.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it was okay.
No, destroy the rest of the trucks. Why would you not do that? Then they all go back into the diner and sit down and go like, oh man, what are we going to do? How about the thing you just did that appeared to be working just fine?
Just keep doing that.
There's only like maybe 10 trucks? And and as we learn later, they have plenty of rockets. Because they use them a lot in this movie. That's another running theme. Where they use the rockets, they work, and then immediately stop using them.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty typical for a horror movie.
But no, it is not. I've never seen a horror movie when they're like, hey, we have this perfect thing that can kill the bad guy. Let's not use it.
That's true.
So they go back inside because why not? And,
why not?
And Lego Maego, Gordon Bombay Estefez, is talking to Annie Hall, and Annie Hall says the titular line of the film. They're talking about how their lives are different and blah, 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 and what they were doing with their lives before they both got there. And then Annie Hall says, something I did before the world went into maximum overdrive.
They did that.
I will say that when they said that in the movie, I just went, woo! You! I mean, I was like 6 beers in, but it was...
Did you really do that, or...?
Yeah, of course I did.
I didn't do that.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have. So the world is into maximum overdrive. The world is into maximum overdrive. And we cut back to the kid on his bike, who at this point has been on his bike for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks up and a plane passes overhead, which is driving itself and does nothing but a flyby. And then the plane is never seen again.
Why not just crash it into the diner?
Not only that, this made me go, why do the aliens not possess the Air Force or all nuclear warheads?
Nuclear vessels.
That would ensure the destruction of humanity better than it is possessing a truck that is carrying toys.
I have a couple other problems, too.
Please.
Why, just out of curiosity, why not, why didn't the trucks just run in? Now, the diner is, like, in the middle of, it's like a gas station. Why don't the aliens just run the trucks into the diner?
Well, I guess their plan is, like, later on when they have them pump gas, is that they need to have them pump gas.
So they don't want to kill them.
I guess. I mean, that's at least what the movie has me believe.
Right. That's true.
But
still.
If they're only goal is kill humans, possess an entire fleet of, I don't know, B-25s, just possess the eastern seaboard's intercontinental ballistic missiles and launch them, all of them.
Game's over, man.
Right. They could take over the world in less than an hour, and instead they spend 3 days
at a truck stop. Yeah.
So it's at this point that after we see Commissioner Gordon with a rocket launcher, Emilio Estevez investigates by interrogating a fat man taking a poop while he makes poop sounds on the toilet, and he gets the poop guy to tell him that there are weapons in the basement. He goes down to the basement and finds that there are M16s and grenades and rocket launchers, and with this new knowledge of all of these weapons, they do nothing. They do nothing.
We have all of this, but who cares?
They do nothing with it. Even though they've seen the rocket launchers work twice.
Well, at this point, are you surprised?
Yes! Because it's just common sense. Like, if you were stuck in anywhere, and if you were stuck in a locked room and there was a crowbar, you wouldn't stare at the crowbar and go, only if that could help us somehow.
Yeah, I suppose.
So we cut back to the kid on the bike, who finally gets to the truck stop because his dad used to work there and his dad died in the beginning. I don't really remember that. But, so he gets to the diner. It goes to night. Gordon Bombay and Annie Hall have sex, but they say make love, which made me go, what is the point in movies where we only said make love? Because there was a point, like, late 70s, early 80s, where you only said make love.
Bodyguard.
What?
Like The Bodyguard, the movie?
Right. Before we said fuck or have sex. We just say make love. Now,
which isn't so bad, but...
No, it's not so bad. Like, I will say to my girlfriend, make love, because we love each other. But Annie Hall and Gordon Bombay...
They didn't love each other.
They're sweaty people in a diner while the apocalypse happens. They're just gonna fuck.
Yeah, this is just like one of those, we're gonna die soon, so we might as well just do this.
Right, but we don't say that. We say make love. And in the afterglow of coitus, they decide that they're going to go to an island off the coast where no cars are allowed. And that is literally a throwaway line, and I think I said more about it than they did.
Since that's a rule, then the cars can't get there.
Right. So even though they can possess planes, which implies that they can possess jets, and also boats. And boats, right, boats with engines. So right. This point, the waitress who was attacked by the electric turkey carver loses her mind.
This part made no sense.
Say again?
This part made no sense that you're about to talk about.
Well, she loses her mind, goes outside, and gets shot. No, does she? Yes. So she goes outside and she's screaming. And at this point, a military platform, it's not a truck. It's almost like an army golf cart with...
It's a
M60.
M274 Mule.
For those of you who don't know what that is, that's the Rambo gun from the first Rambo movie.
Yep.
Shows up on a golf cart and shoots her. Now, this is where I go, so the aliens also possess this gun. Because this gun isn't electrical, it's a gun on a swivel.
This movie should be over at this point.
At this point, I'm like, do they possess all guns then? Is there a Cabela's somewhere where the guns are just going off?
Oh, boy.
Do they possess the guns, or do they also possess the bullets?
Maybe the bullets were locked up.
Oh, but the M60 has the bullets, though.
Right, yep. So
well, if you say it like that, then it's explained. I don't even know why I'm asking this question.
And you got to think gun safety, first, last, and always.
So... The waitress gets shot by the machine gun, and everybody goes back inside. The aliens turn the lights off in the diner, and then there's a 10-minute scene where everybody just gets drunk.
Yep, good scene.
The trucks never stop driving. There appears to be no immediate threat, so everybody's kind of just chilling out.
That's cool. I mean, whatever.
But, well, that bothered me. But anyway, the kids...
What doesn't bother you about this movie?
What does... Oh, well, I don't know. There's not... I guess nothing.
See, so I don't know why you...
So, the kid gets into the diner through a drain pipe, and he finds out his dad's dead. The Emilio Estevez shoots another missile launcher at a truck to make the kid feel better.
Yep.
Again, showing the efficiency of the rocket launchers. So he takes a rocket launcher out, shoots it at a truck. It explodes. That alien truck is dead. It's no longer a threat. And then again immediately stops using it.
1-for-1 trade.
He turns around, goes inside, then that's it.
Now, have you mentioned also all the people that are being hit by these trucks can just move out of the way?
Yes,
or just not stand still.
Again, they are trucks, and they move quickly. But anytime somebody happens to go outside, they either have to clock into reverse or turn. And I don't know if you've seen a truck go into reverse or turn.
It's not fast.
It's not fast. You can get out of the way. Nobody does.
Or even makes an attempt.
No. Multiple people try to go outside to get to their car or do this thing or save that person, and a truck very, very slowly changes its direction, and then they stand there and stare at it while the truck comes and hits them.
We emphasize slowly.
So they get hit by...
Emphasize slowly.
So... They get hit, so they shoot up the truck and whatever. So the military truck with the M60 starts honking its horn, and the kid, who is a Boy Scout, realizes it's Morse code and finds out that the truck is telling them to pump gas or they'll kill all of them.
I don't know. Since the actual truck stop seems to be ollie oxen free, I would just stay there.
Well, Emilio Estevez seems to be pleased by this prospect.
He feels they have power?
He seems really happy about it, and he goes in the back to get his jacket, and Annie Hall follows him, tells him not to do it, and she makes a reference that was interesting. She goes, "Don't pump that gas. It's like Neville Chamberlain giving in to the zombies. It's like Neville Chamberlain giving in to the Nazis." And she said that, and I was like, that was super highbrow for this movie.
And very obscure.
I don't think it's that obscure, but it's obscure for this movie.
Yeah, I was not ready for that one.
This movie didn't have enough Nazi references in it, so let's cram one in there real quick. So... Then there is a 95-minute montage of just people pumping gas.
I thought it was more about 13 minutes.
Well, it felt
Yeah, it's about 13 minutes.
It was long, and they're just pumping gas. So at some point, Emilio Estevez is so tired of pumping gas because they've been pumping gas for maybe an afternoon, and he drops a grenade in the military truck with the machine gun, and it blows up and does nothing. And so they stop pumping gas and then just decide to escape through a drain. Through a giant pipe.
Yep.
So they escape through the giant pipe, and the trucks, not even really knowing this, just destroy the place.
Yes.
And cause massive explosions for no real reason. That the place kind of just blows up. And so they're escaping through back streets, and they're planning back streets back, all right. And they plan to get to the ocean, to get on a sailboat, not a motorboat. They make sure to say that, so that they can go to this island run by the Amish where there's no cars.
Right.
So
What makes you think the Amish are just going to let them roll up there in there, and allow them to go there?
The Amish are people of God. I feel like in the middle of an alien invasion, they would welcome refugees.
Okay, so that's cool then at that point. Okay.
You said that like that was true.
I just want to make sure that they were okay to go there and everything.
Well, I'm assuming. So they hide next to a fast food place where a drive-through sign says humans are here, humans are here, humans are here, even though the audio that comes through a drive-through is directed by a human voice.
Right.
So it's implying that this drive-through sign has the ability to make human sounds, but that's literally never brought up until... Anyway, so the kid goes up and he shoots it with a machine gun, gives him his machine gun away, and then they blow up an ice cream truck with an Uzi.
Yep, there's actually a little bit of backstory on this ice cream truck.
Okay, give it to me.
This was a problem during... This was one of the accidents that happened on set. So the ice cream truck flips over. You remember that from the movie?
I do.
Yep. Apparently that didn't go according to plan, and so what they did was they put a telephone size pole beam to make the flip,
Yeah.
But it flipped, and when it flipped, it only slid on its roof the first time they flipped it, and went towards the cameraman, and he was pulled out at the last second out of the way from this car and almost killed him.
Well, it's like a happy story then.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So, they shoot
that piece of wood also caused a problem with that with the lawnmower too.
Didn't somebody lose an eye in this movie? Like one of the cast lost an eyeball.
Yeah, he sued Stephen King for $18 million.
How did he lose his eye?
Let's see here. Oh, the splinter from the block of wood shot out of the lawnmower and hit him in the eye.
That's just terrible that a person lost their eye. $18 million. That's more than this movie made and cost combined.
Well, let's say that was settled out of court. We don't know how much the settlement was.
It said $18 million, didn't it?
That's what he sued for. I didn't say he won the case.
If Stephen King wanted it out of court, he better have paid him at least $15.
Yeah, probably.
So, well, anyway, this movie keeps going. They blow up the ice cream truck.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're almost to the end. We're so close. So they blow up the ice cream truck. They get to a sailboat. At the dock of the sailboat, the Green Goblin truck has literally creeped up on somebody.
Yep.
They're
almost like a rogue.
He didn't hear an 18-wheeler creep up on him, kills this guy, and then Emilio Estevez comes up with a rocket launcher again, implying that they are the only thing that work, yet they never use them, shoots a rocket launcher at this truck, blows it up, and says... He doesn't say hasta la vista, baby. He says something like, adios, dude. Something like... He has some sort of pithy line.
Very 80s.
Kills the truck, blows it up, they get on a sailboat. Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC starts playing.
Good song.
It's a good song. They show a title card that says, 2 days later, a Russian weather satellite equipped with lasers, because it's the 80s.
Yep, everything's lasers.
Shot a UFO, which is never mentioned beyond what I just said, and the alien invasion is over. The end.
I accept that.
How do you accept that?
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was going to say, how on earth do you accept that? They're just like, oh yeah, by the way, there was a spaceship and a fake laser shot it and it's gone, and now trucks aren't possessed by alien ghosts anymore.
If the movie would have been about that part, I would have loved it.
Yeah, right?
Space.
If there was a
lasers,
space battle where we were like, the Soviets came and they're like, hey, we are the only ones with a functioning spaceship equipped with laser turrets, and we had to go, please, Russia, save us. We'll give you anything you want.
What are you going to do, man?
Nothing.
Stephen King.
Turn off Netflix and read a book.
And hope it's not trucks.
Hope it's not. You say hope it's not trucks like I pick my books by closing my eyes and selecting them randomly off my shelf. And I close my eyes and I reach up and I pull a book out and I open it to a random page and it just says trucks. And I go, no!
That was a bit over dramatic.
Well, now that this movie is over, Francis,
get it right.
Francis, why don't you tell us what you thought about Stephen King's novella transformed into a movie script and then directed by Stephen King's movie Maximum Overdrive?
Well, I think that the idea is cool. Having, space aliens come down and be able to possess things is kind of a neat. I would have liked to see some more aliens.
You didn't see any aliens. What do you mean more? How about just one?
Well, one is better than zero, so more works here.
Okay.
If you want to go by the laws of mathematics.
Don't you do it. Don't you dare start with that.
Here we go. So, anyways, other than that, again, the movie took way too long to get going. I had a problem with, I was going to say, there we go. So the pacing was terrible. Yeah, love the idea. Liked the diner. Just going to make a second note on that diner. The truck stop they set up was actually a full-scale truck stop for this movie, and I guess real truckers were started to stop there. And they kept having to tell them, please don't come here because it's not a real diner.
Another fact on that diner, it was actually turned into a real truck stop.
Yep, it's called the Dixieland, was it? Dixie Boy.
Dixie Boy was turned into a real truck stop and apparently ran for about 5 years before nobody went there and they just had to close it down. But after they blew the setup, they took... excuse me.
Are you all right over there?
Better now. They took the actual, what was left of the frame of the diner, turned it into a real diner, and it functioned for half a decade.
Really?
Yeah. Before they had to close down because it went bankrupt, but they ran it for 5 years.
Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. But
why don't you?
Let's see.
Why don't you give us your rating on Schmaximum Schmoverdrive by Stephen Schming?
Well, let's see. Not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's a good bad movie. So if you got to see something that's gonna make you laugh and it's just definitely out there. On the bad movie rating scale that I've created, on a 1 through 5, we'll go in tenths increments on that.
Wait, it's through 5, but we're incrementing.
Yeah, we're going to go tenths.
Then increments. Why don't you just make it through 10?
No, 50. Then I would do 1 through 50.
What? Okay.
So we'll go with on the bad movie rating scale, 1 to 5 by tenths. I want to give it a 2.2.
I still don't understand why it's a 2.2. A 2.2 out of 10?
No, out of 5.
A 2.2 out of 5, which... Okay. All right, whatever.
No, I'm saying on the bad movie rating scale. Now, if it was on a regular movie rating scale, I'd give it a 0.7.
Oh my god, people are going to have to do math to figure out whether or not they actually... if this movie is worth their time?
Well, I'm sure they heard the synopsis, and they'll make a decision off that.
All right, okay. Anyway, thank you. Back to my rating scale. Before I get to my rating scale, I would like to read you a couple of other facts about the movie. Apparently, Stephen King, who is a former cocaine addict, was interviewed about the movie and later said, "During the making of the film, I was, and I quote, coked out of my mind. The entire time I was making the picture, I often had no idea what I was doing." And when somebody asked him why he hasn't directed a movie since Maximum Overdrive, his answer was, just watch Maximum Overdrive. Which made me happy because I was like, well, at least he gets it. He's got it. He directed his first movie. It was so bad. He sobered up one day, put the VHS in, and went, "What the fuck was I? What is this?"
The VHS.
And then
he's on Betamax.
He puts in the Betamax because he thought that was going to be the system of the day. And Gordon Bombay and Commissioner Gordon come on, and he goes, what the fuck? What, I hired these people? And he just, like, realizes what he did. Now, I kind of like this movie. I know you don't. But
I don't.
I thought it's kind of fun. If you've got a case of beer and 2 friends and you're bored, put this movie on and you guys will be able to watch it and make fun of it and laugh. There are a lot of things that happen. It actually has a really, really great soundtrack. I love AC/DC. AC/DC is one of my favorite bands. And this is just AC/DC's best singles set to trucks running people over. Now, it's really slow towards the middle. Right around the middle, you're just like, all right, something better happen. But if the beginning is good and the ending is good, I kind of like it. I'm going to give it 2.5 scotches. Can you hear the glass? Can you hear
I hear it.
Wait, let me splash it more. Okay, I'm going to give it 2.5 scotches out of 5 scotches.
Sounds fair enough.
And it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's a bad film. It's not going to win any Oscars. It has a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's deserved. But if you're by yourself, you'll hate it. But if you're with at least one other person, it's amusing.
So, good. Well, that wraps up this episode of whatever we're going to call this show.
Of this unnamed podcast. If you liked this, it's going to be on iTunes hopefully in a week. Please rate and review if you ever listen to it. If you don't, that's fine.
And you won't even hear us.
When this has some sort of name, we'll have Facebook to some degree like that too. And other than that, thank you for listening to this podcast. And I'm Zach.
And Francis.
And we're out. Thanks.